It's almost Thanksgiving, and stuffing is one of the basics, right? This is such an easy and classic stuffing recipe for Thanksgiving. I start with slicing my wheat and rye breads that I baked before, and I already shared these bread recipes in one of my videos. If you're interested, I'll be putting the link down in the description box below if you wanna check those out. I bake and froze my bread, and I defrosted this morning for my stuffing. You don't need to bake the bread, obviously. Just use any good kind that you really like to eat. As you see, I have my little assistant here in my kitchen. She offered her help, and I, of course, couldn't resist. And looks like she can't resist tasting the bread cubes. After roughly cutting my bread slices into cubes, I'll go ahead and dry them out in the oven at 350 Fahrenheit for about 20 to 30 minutes till they are fully dried and crispy. I was about to forget to mention how I measure my bread, right? I just use my baking dish. Use basically whatever you are planning to bake in. In this case, I have it 13 by 9 inch dish, and I fill it kinda 3/4, but you can go lower if you need less. Now, time to prep the vegetables. Very classic and simple. I have one very large yellow onion, celery, and mushroom. I'll start with dicing my onion, and then we'll be dicing a couple of celery stalks and then slicing some mushrooms. Pretty simple. And as always, I have all the ingredients and measurements for this recipe down in the description box below. As I'm done with dicing and slicing, now it's time to saute these goodness. I like to saute my onion and celery in extra virgin olive oil instead of butter to keep things a little lighter, especially for Thanksgiving, as there will be several side dishes. Okay, I'll cook this onion and celery mixture until they are softened, about 10 minutes. As you can see, I have a separate pan that I'll be sauteing my mushrooms. I like to keep it separate from celery and onion mixture when sauteing. I think the flavors are more intense if you keep them separate up front. Okay, I melted 1 tablespoon of butter. Now I'm adding my sliced mushrooms, and then I'll be adding a little salt to taste, and we'll be sauteing just for 5 minutes. Oh yes, my bread cubes are dried out and ready. I let them rest and cool down. They can wait in the room temperature until you are ready. Time to chop some parsley. I like to keep my parsley in a mason jar partially filled with water, and I keep them outside on my deck as the weather is cool enough now to keep them fresh for days since we are in almost winter. I just change the water in every 3 to 4 days. This one has been in the jar almost a week now, and as you see, they are still super fresh for stuffing. Totally up to you how much you like. I'm chopping my parsley, and I would say I will be adding about a cup of chopped parsley to my stuffing. We are all set and ready. Here's my assembly line for this yummy stuffing. Here I have my bread cubes fully dried out. I already buttered my 13 by 9 baking dish. And here I have my sautéed onions and celery, mushrooms, my chicken stock, and I like to cool all these a little bit before mixing, so I would say everything is almost at room temperature now. I also have 2 eggs, and finally our favorite herbs, Italian parsley, oregano, and some bay leaves. I would add sage and rosemary too, especially since this is for Thanksgiving, but unfortunately my daughters don't like them. But go ahead and add whatever herbs you like. Okay, this is the fun part. I'll go ahead and start mixing all these delicious ingredients one by one in my gigantic bowl. Let me show you. I have my little assistant over here again. She keeps tasting the bread, but she doesn't like the smell of cooked onions. Actually, fresh or cooked doesn't matter. Just the opposite for me though. Okay, back to the stuffing. Basically, I add all the ingredients one by one, as you'll see, and mix very well. And then pour to my baking dish. And that's pretty much it. Now I'm just covering my baking dish with foil. Now it's ready to go to the preheated oven. And you know what? No, not really. I forgot to add my bay leaves. I just opened the foil up. I'm sticking a couple of bay leaves. Then I'm done. Total baking time I would say is about 60 minutes. I'll bake this cover for 40 minutes at 365 Fahrenheit and I'll remove the foil and bake another extra 20 minutes till the top has a good crunchy crust.
Sauté.